Well, technically 2, because we talked about State of Decay earlier and Frame Trap.
Yeah.
I gotta talk about Sea of Thieves.
You said
man.
literally one game.
Geez.
Sorry.
Sea of
Yeah, Sea of Thieves, and with a crunch.
Yeah.
Yum.
We're gonna crunch hard
Yeah.
on one of my favorite games from the show. You talk about streamable games, Mike Huber.
Totally Sea of Thieves.
You talk about games where like you're figuring it out while chat's figuring it out. We're all exploring this together. I had almost all of my questions answered. I had almost any concern that I had where I was just like, it feels like this happens. Do you do this? And they're like, yes. But more specifically, like, what's going on? What are the motivations? Am I the only... You played... No, wait.
I played last year,
Okay.
and then actually the dev was kind of disappointed that I didn't get a chance to play this year, because I actually talked to him a couple of times this week.
Bloodworth plays so many games that they're disappointed when he
Yeah.
doesn't show up. They expect him.
He walks by their booth and they just frown as he passes by.
Not this year.
But I did have I might have told this story already, but we were both at the Xbox showcase together on Monday, and I was waiting in line to play Crackdown 3, and I saw Jones had showed up for Sea of Thieves, and he was, going to be getting on there. And then while I was waiting for Crackdown, I just heard this, like, roar of applause go up for like the 2 rows away where Jones was when he finished the session. Like everybody was happy about that.
It was exciting. It was a hard game to put down. So what's going on in this game? What's the point? I'm a pirate. Yay! What am I doing?
Yes, Jones, this is what I need.
You're making money, baby. You're making money, and you're buying more of everything. You're buying more outfits. You're buying better guns. You're buying more upgrades for your ship.
Can I buy an island?
I think you are given an island.
Okay.
You are given a base of operations.
Okay.
Oh, right, yeah.
And you can, I'm assuming, upgrade that. There was a merchant there. Didn't go into that menu or buy anything from the merchant.
I have an
but
immediate.
He did walk into a little store. There was a little person, doing a little idle animation. And so maybe in a Black Flag way, maybe you can get more of those shops that sell different things. Do not have specifics.
The
on that.
island is like the one safe space.
Where you
for
start
yeah.
every time you log into the game.
So there's 4 of us though. We're in a pirate crew.
Yes.
Whose ship is it? Whose island is it?
Whoever
Whoever
gone into the game.
hosts.
Yeah, whoever hosts.
Okay. Got it. But
so,
then if
so
I'm
I
in
don't
your
know.
game, I
I'm
still
sure
take my
I would
stuff.
imagine you can set up clans and stuff like that. So I don't know if there's a shared synergy where we can all share an island but I would imagine it's tied to somebody's profile. Otherwise, I don't know how you would manage that.
Okay.
But I did get the sense that one person was like the captain. It was like you're all. I'm the captain now. You're all on my ship. And we're going out, and basically we're trying to make as much money as possible. How you make money is you bring things back to your base. How much you decide to get before you head back to your base is up to you, and that's the risk reward of the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
My 2 favorite things about Sea of Thieves are, 1, you have to work together. You have to. The game is impossible to play with one person. It does not function. There's no way to do it.
Right. If you're on the wheel of the ship, you can't go and you can't see.
Can't see anything. Yeah. You see sails.
You see sails.
And so you have a guy down, you have somebody down in the underneath the ship, looking at the map, being like east, and you're like, okay. And what was funny was it's a boat, and so we're like east, like to turn right, and so they would go, okay. And we're like, no, left, back, too far, left. Like, okay.
Yeah,
We're like,
yeah.
no, too far left, go back. And so like you really had to communicate and get a sense of like, okay, how can I better
really cool.
How can I better communicate to you exactly how far to turn? And one person is moving the map, but the other people can still look at the map and see the movement. So like I can't control like the zooming in and out, but I can still look at it and see the other islands. When we started up, there were 3 different like missions we could go on. You could bring up a map, and we saw 3 different islands. And so you like see the island, see how many treasure chests were on that island. The island does not have a name right away. So we see the island, we're like, let's go get that one. That has 3 treasure chests on it. We'll go get that one. Now you gotta look at the map and find it. There's no waypoints. There's no automatic thing. We gotta find it. So we're scrolling. Okay, so that it's got a little leg and there's little tiny islands. Oh, there it is. I'm like, that's the island. Zoom in. Snake Island. Got it. Okay, we're going to Snake Island.
Snake Island.
I can't like set a marker that the captain can see. We just gotta point in that direction, and I gotta still look at the map and be like, okay, oh, we're almost there. You see it in advance. Classic mistake we made is like, all right, we're coming into port. And I was like, okay, wait, slow down. And we're like, oops. And we just, like, right into port. Like, got 3 holes right in the front of the ship. We're like, like, ran down, like, patched them up. Like, got our buckets out, scooped up the water, threw it back over the edge, ran back downstairs, scooped up more water.
Man?
There was what?
There's no waypoints.
There's no waypoints.
Yeah.
You just go places. When you're on an island, there's no
Freedom.
map. There's not like, let me
man.
bring up the map of this island and see where I'm
love
at.
that.
You have to know where you
Freedom.
are.
Yes.
You have to know, like, this is the north side of the island, so that means that thing is over there.
Well, you can get a map, right? Like, you can see a drawing of the island, but it's
I can
not
see
gonna...
a drawing of the island, but I don't see myself on
Right.
or my teammates, or how close they are to me. I just got to pay attention to where stuff is. And I think that's one thing that it might turn off a lot of people. I will not be surprised if I see people being like, it's just too difficult, it's too procedural, there's too many things I had to worry about, it's too stressful. Kind of like overcooked in a way, you know. It's just like I'm so reliant on my other teammates, it just got frustrating. And like I could see that, but if you are clicking, you know, if you get like a 4-person team that understands their roles, that is willing to work together, everything is manual. You have to load every single cannonball before you fire. Like you fire and now it's not loaded, and I gotta put in another cannonball. I have cannonballs in my inventory.
I just want to be screaming that to you, Jones.
There is when you start and you leave. I'm assuming you can up this inventory level, but there are only a set amount of cannonballs on our ship, so we could run out of cannonballs. You can load yourself into the cannon. And you shoot yourself out of that cannon. So if you want to, like, you can see that in the demo. So I want to blast myself over to the ship or blast myself over to an island, but I can't steer the cannon while I'm in it. So if you're like, okay, Huber, you're going over, like you load in and then I aim it, like just like shoot you over. And, like,
That's happening immediately.
Yeah.
How do they handle death?
when you die, you go to a ghost ship.
Oh, ghost ship.
Yeah,
to a
we saw
ghost
this
ship.
on the after Microsoft
That is out on the sea.
press
You cannot see the horizon. It's all smoke, red candles, just literally, lined up around the outside of the ship.
I want to.
If someone else dies, if you and I died at the same time, we're both just sitting on the ship, just waiting. And then there is a door that has skeleton unicorns crossed together and two like Grim Reapers on either side of it.
Cool.
And after a while, I think it's like 30 seconds to a minute, door opens up, you go through, it ports you back to a nearby teammate, I think.
Okay.
That teammate could be in the middle of the ocean, treading water, or could be like right in the middle of a fight or something, and you would just pop right there.
I forgot. Is it PvP or is it versus the
Oh, yeah.
computer?
PvP.
PvP, right?
Oh, yeah.
So how many people can be like you said you're going for the 3-star thing?
Right.
You have your crew of 4.
Right.
How many other crews are out
In
there?
the demo that we played, there were 2 other crews of 4.
So it's 12.
So 12 people
not 12.
total in the demo that we did. I do not know if that's reflective of how many people can be in the
Okay.
same world at the same time.
Wow.
I totally strolled right up next to a person like, hey. And the dev like leaned in. He's like, he's not on your team. And I was like, oh. And like turned to him right as he noticed too, and he like took me out. Because I just did. We were so obsessed with what we were doing, I like forgot. Like,
Right.
oh yeah, there's other people in this world. There was an NPC boat that we came across. We were like, we going on the island or are we doing the boat? We're like, get that boat. So we're like following the boat. Boat starts speeding up. Like, oh no, they're coming at us. Crashes on a rock,
my God.
sinks. The crew gets out and swims to the island, and they're stuck on the island. And so we're like, okay. So we just like launched over, like killed them, like took their stuff and like brought it
Cool.
back. You have
But
to.
here's the thing, though. Like that encounter, how much of somebody being not on your team can you kind of play around with? Like
Sure,
like,
playing around is this game. Is
That's what I mean. It's like you could conceivably find another team that's got a ton of loot,
Oh yeah.
and then
there's gonna
find another team that doesn't have a ton of loot. And it's like, hey, let's go after that first team together.
Right.
And
But you don't want to sink their ship. Because if you sink their
Yeah.
ship, all their treasure goes down to the bottom of the
Sure.
ocean, and you gotta go down to the ocean, grab every single treasure chest one by one, carry it back up to go over to your ship, drop it somewhere. Like one of the responses that I loved is when we brought the chest back to the ship. We're like, where do we put it? And he's like, wherever you want. You just gotta get it back. You know,
Right.
so like you can hide it, you can leave it on the deck to get access it quicker.
Oh,
when you
hiding,
take
yeah.
it back, so you take it back to your island. Do you have like a vault on your island? Like you put it in?
Didn't. The demo ended while we were still out in the
Okay,
world.
okay.
And I am assuming that's how ships work. I would imagine that you can steal a ship. So if you like, okay, we're at this island and you all get off, bad idea. Like you want at least one person to stay on the
Sure.
ship to warn, like, oh, like ding, 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 ding. You can ring the bell and like you can hear it. Like, so like there's people coming up because if you're not on that boat, all it takes is just shooting 2 guys over and like one guy gets on the map, the other guy like does the sails and bye, got your ship. And so I imagine I would take that back to my island, cash it in, probably get money for that. And they said, didn't get into specifics, but said there was a way to get your ship back if a ship is stolen from you.
Okay.
Did
Maybe
anyone
you take a financial hit or something like.
did anyone encounter any sharks?
sharks all over the place. Man.
Okay.
You can fire underwater, which is a little unrealistic with the bullets, but
Yeah.
you got one of those things like coming at you. And they weren't like stupid aggressive. Like when I jumped out, there was a train of 3 of them that went by, and I just kind of got underneath them and hid behind a rock. It was
Okay.
like, okay. But
Did you take any of them out?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
There was one point where we were like, we gotta get back to our ship, and there's all these sharks. So we just stayed at the beach, and we're just like, and you have a sword too, so you can get in there and,
Sure.
and slash away at it. But I just love the physicality of it. Like you have to, there's one thing on the side that raises and lowers the sails, and it's not just like hit a button, boom, it goes up. The more you hold it, the more they roll up,
Very cool.
and the more lower they are, the faster you go. The higher they are, the slower you go. You have to turn the sails toward the wind. So it's like Wind Waker. You can see these little like gusts of winds going
Yeah.
by. So
Well,
you
you
like
kinda-
look up and you're like, okay, that way. Okay, steer it. Okay.
You
So
kind
it's-
of co-op the raising the anchor too, right? The
yeah.
big-
Oh, yeah. So when you lower the anchor, it's pretty simple. Like one person can do it. But when you raise the anchor, it's really slow, and it's this wheel that you turn around. So if you get all 4 people doing it really quick, then you get it done fast.
Mm-hmm.
Again, teamwork wins this game. Like if you're in sync and you are a well oiled machine. I just can't wait to just decimate people.
Yeah.
Just find people that are like, hey, I got the Sea of Thieves thing. Let's try it out. And they just go out and like, here comes the SS Easy Allies and just mows them over. And they're like, whoa. But it's
wonder-
not. I'm not trolling you. It's not like World of Warcraft where it's like I'm griefing this guy and stopping him from doing what he's doing.
Right.
Like just getting out there, getting treasure, getting it back. That's the game.
Yeah.
And so I just imagine kind of like maybe Rainbow Six Siege is a bad example, but it's just like simple format, takes a couple matches to get the idea of how everything works.
Yeah.
And then it's beyond that, it's just all this experimentation of just like how you manage those systems, how you get better at the game.
I wonder if there's any sort of bounty system for a crew that has gotten a lot of treasure that maybe
Yes.
would kind of
Like
spice things
GTA
up by-
Online, where like they're
Yeah.
marked red,
Right,
where you know
right,
like we're
exactly.
like maybe that's a quest.
Yeah.
Maybe when you see what quests you have. I have a selfish thing. We're officially on Damiani time. I have a selfish thing that I want to say
most dangerous.
I went up to the developers and I'm like, this might seem out of left field, but you have fulfilled a gaming dream of mine.
Wow.
That every time I see a pirate game or a ship game, I go, did they? No, they didn't.
Brad too. Brad was saying the same
I'm-
thing. It's like his dream game.
But it's a very specific thing that they did that I'm so surprised that games haven't done. That when I first heard about Black Flag, I was like, oh, no way they're not going to do that. They're totally going to do that. And they didn't, and it pissed me off. And that's, I want to be in the captain's chambers at the back of a ship, and I want to look out the window. It's that simple. I want that
Yeah.
to be an actual physical room on the ship. And I want to look out at the side, and I get in there, and I was like, can you? And I went in. Not only can you, there's a little balcony out the back.
Oh.
That you can just stand out the back there and just watch the waves just lap like as you're going by. And I told the team, and they all just smiled knowingly, like, "Oh, of course, yeah." It was like very important to us. Because in Black Flag, you go into that room and it's closed off, it's instanced, all the windows are shut. There's not even a bed in the room. I was like, this is not believable to me, as far as like the captain's quarters. And I was just like, man, I could. Because again, it's like. It does seem simple on paper. You're just going out, getting as much loot as you can, and bringing it back. But man, I'd be happy just sitting on that balcony for an hour. Like just taking it easy.
You are making this sound like the pirate game of dreams. Like yes.
I mean, if
We
we
look
are,
forward to our weekly Sea of Thieves.
if we want to temper expectations, and you can tell this by looking at it, this is not Destiny 2 level graphics. Like this is.
But
this
it's
is
got
not.
style,
This
you
is
know?
not
Yeah.
like you
Yeah,
compare
graphics
this
don't
obviously to
look-
Skull
yeah.
and Bones and like forget it. It's not. It is not that type of game. The water looked prettier than I imagined. Like underwater definitely is spooky. It's like when it's not that deep, you can see the bottom right away, and if it is, you'll like I imagine like ships like vanishing. Like.
I guess in a game like this, I would be worried not so much on a technical front, but like going into a cave, right, where you're looking for something, and how complex is that? And like, would you be like over a long period of time, are you seeing a lot of similar things, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, repetition for
Yeah.
sure is the big question. Like how long?
I think
will it
PvP
last?
will help alleviate.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But still, if your objectives are, how many objectives do they have? The trailer has like the riddles, the clues to get to the treasure. It's like how many of those will be repeated? I think PvP.
You got your accordion. You can just break it out and rock and roll every now and then whenever you feel like it. There's a keg on the boat, so you can fill it up with grog and
Yes.
just throw it back, and you get drunk after you drink a couple times. It's. I was just so impressed because it just it like I said, and I don't know if I've illustrated this specifically, but like all the questions that I had was like, can you do this? It was just yes to all of them. Like, that made me so happy.
yes.
And so all that is left to do is just to get it and to jump in. Like I kind of don't want to know more. I just want to play the darn thing.
What I'm looking forward to is just playing by your own rules, where yes, the objective is to go and to steal treasure and to amass this big hoard. I want to be like the ale thieves. Like we just go and we only steal alcohol from them. That's what we do. That would be fun. And telling those stories.
Totally.
And they're like, wait, aren't you going to take our treasure? And you're like, no, ha ha ha.
We don't want your booze.
Yeah.
And like, you know, these were all random characters we played with random skins. You know, it's like we looked around and it's like I just had to remember that like that weird silly name that the team thought up was actually connected to that person. But like seeing your profiles, having you be custom characters so I can recognize you just by looking at you, possibly even getting to the point where you achieve some kind of notoriety in this game.
Yeah.
Where like someone sees your gamer tag and knows like, oh no, you know, like bumping into an ally randomly in this game. Ugh.
Trader Jones on the horizon.
These waters belong to Trader Jones.
So yeah, just absolutely, and all the lovely ladies of What's Good Games played before me, and even just watching the three of them play it was just so jolly. So yeah, we're gonna be streaming the hell out of this game.
Those are some excellent.
But I can't say how long it'll last. You know, that's the joy of discovery.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially because I'm sure most of the islands look similar.
Do you think the joy of that balcony will remain forever?
I don't know. Forever's a long time, Ben.
Sure.
We'll see. I can't promise that,
Okay.
but it's finally they did it. You know?
Yeah.
Jones, you just fed me a
Yes.
giant bowl of hype and hope.
Yes.
Yes.
Hype.
Slurp it up.
Yeah.
Are we okay to crunch on that?
Oh yeah.
That was good. That was a good